If there are no objection, this session will be recorded because I think there will be useful information to be kept also for the development part, and to keep to record the session is always useful. So if there are some objection, please let me know. First of all, as you noticed from the mail exchange, due to ages and availability, we have been forced to organize two separate sessions. The one of today that is focused on the mobile app for the patients, and in another date that still have to be defined, hopefully by the middle of March, if we are able to, but before the submission of the deliverable 3.2, we will have another session, this time with Aegis as say main technical driver, and again the clinical partners to support this co-design session. About the today's meeting organization, it will be 3 hours. This is not a one-to-many presentation type of meeting, but it's a collaborative session aiming at gathering relevant information on the mobile app design, and in the next session on the global insight cloud and the clinical backend. Also, it's important to say that this today collaborative meeting, the way of proceeding today, the way of work, it's also a test. And also, I would like to get your feedback about the way this workshop is organized and supported by online collaborative tool, because if it works and if you think that is a viable way, we can also use it for the various workshops that we have to perform, also with external stakeholder, with the patients. So I think that avoiding to have physical meeting, not only for COVID, but also in order to be let's say more efficient, it will be something very useful to explore, or maybe combining physical meeting plus online session. So please, also at the end of this meeting, it will be also nice to hear you about your experience. So the objective of this meeting is obviously to assess the mockup designed by Datamet on the mobile application, in order to start and to get information for the refinement. Obviously, this activity will not be performed in this work package. There are work packages devoted to it. But yeah, this is a starting point that we have to report in the architecture, and all the feedback that we receive from you today is very important. About the team, we have different roles. I am the moderator instead of Natalia. Natalia today is not cannot join, unfortunately. We have a facilitator, that is Gianluca Gambatesa, and then we have the key participants that are Datamet for the technical part and the clinical partners. All the other partners for the Sphinx that will join, let's say, are observer. So the observer have actually a main passive role, so they will follow the conversation, because any change, any suggestion that impact the mobile app functionality can have an impact, obviously, on the backend functionality, on the data that will be data quality that will be collected for other modules. So it's good that they are here, but in terms of let's say active participation in the workshop, there will be a little step back. However, they are very welcome to intervene whenever needed. About the method, we are going to use the mock-up presentation, and we have this mural, this collaborative tool that in a few seconds Gianluca is going to introduce. And so this is it. This is if there is some question, some clarification, please let me know. Otherwise, I would leave the floor to Gianluca to start introducing the collaborative tool.
Great. Thank you, Matteo. Morning all. It's a pleasure being here with you. As Matteo was saying, today we will use a collaborative platform that is called Mural. Is nothing else than a white wall to put the stickies on. So it's virtual, but it's like working with stickies. I share with you the screen, and then I will share the link too. It's just to introduce how it works. So there are a few parts that you can see because they are hidden, but we will follow a few steps together, and I will show you how it works, but you will have a few minutes to try yourself. It's really easy. With a double click, you can edit, you can create a post-it with this little, all of you is seeing my cursor, correct? Perfect. If you click on the lens, you zoom at 100%, and then you can start edit something like this. So this is really the only functionality that we will use. It's with your scroll of the mouse, you can zoom in and zoom out. And to create, as I was saying, it's just double click and you edit and create a post-it. You can eventually change the color of the sticky if you wish, but I think this is really everything that we need for today. So the idea, Matteo, is inviting George to share the mockups, and when George has done all the presentation, we will jump together on the mural so that participants could start creating their stickies, have a few minutes to exercise, and then we collect feedback. Does it work for you, or you prefer that we start with the mural with a few minutes to take confidence and then we give the word to George, as you prefer?
Now let's start with the George presentation.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So just give me a minute to.
So let's see if you can hear me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, great.
George,
Hello.
I will follow your instruction. I think that we will start with this part, that is the general overview. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then I will follow you with all the mock-ups in a way that you can start from the first to the last.
So
word to you, George, please.
Yes, that's a good overview. That's why I think I sent this slide to you. And this is the architecture overview of the system. And I think I would like to remind you, well, a few people that were around, or some people that were not around, and show you what and where at what point we're right now in the architecture. And I think this is almost final, okay? And to paint you a mental picture about how the system will work and what will the system will be doing as a whole. So we're going to break it down into three parts. One is the global insights cloud. Okay, so the second part is the clinical side backend, which is the ones that the doctors will be working. The third part is the statistical part, is the one that the administrators, the data scientists, the clinical experts, the healthcare policymakers, and of course the auditors will be working. You want me? Okay, you can do that. You want me to go one? No, okay.
Yeah, if you put your cursor on the mural, we can see where you are, George. So you can indicate all the fields.
Perfect. There I am. Good, good. Yes, I can see myself. This is great. So the actors are on the right side and the system is on the left. So you can see here which actors work on each side, each and every subsystem, whatever you want to call it, module, layer, it doesn't matter. We have up to now changed 3 times what we're gonna call each layer, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, as long as you have a mental picture that there are 3 different parts and each has different actors. Okay, so the top part, as we said, is the global insight cloud. So let me show you here. So this is the system. Or should I start from the bottom? which is the correct way of looking at this system. It's sometimes I wonder why we start from the top. It's this system is one system that you have to see it from the bottom up and not from top to bottom. I remember I had a professor used to say you have to design the system the right way, either from bottom up or top to bottom or middle out. So this is the system that you need to design it from bottom up, because that's where the data are coming and that's where everything is happening. It's right down there. So Gianluca, let's go down here to this place, this little space here. This is the patient edge. So we have come up with two different systems that will work for the patient edge. One is going to be the home gateway. What this system will be doing. This is a Raspberry Pi. Let me know, don't get into details. Just think that this is going to be a different machine that will be able to read the smart home devices and sensors and will be sending them up to your cloud. Okay, so what are these devices? These devices are the humidity right now, okay, is the humidity sensor and the temperature sensor. So that's what you're going to be getting from this little machine inside your home. Okay, it's going to be connected to your router either by an Ethernet cable or a Wi-Fi cable, and it will get the data from these little machines and send them to the cloud. Okay, now the second part is the mobile application. The mobile application, and I have I have my good programmer over here, Manolis, and later he will show you a part of this mobile application and how it works. So the mobile application will be doing the rest. What is the rest? It will connect to the patient devices and sensors, which right now we have a scale, we have a pressure meter, which I have it here right in front of me, and we have a oximeter, for example, this one, which I have right here, okay? And they will connect to this mobile application. The mobile application also will be the one that will be responsible of getting the data from the local weather. So this mobile application will be doing, which is what you see here. Let me put this, my cursor. Let's see. Let's hope you can see it here. There I am here.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are where the real world data will come in, and the mobile application will pick up this data and will aggregate them and send them up to the cloud. So this is the basic two functions of the system, which are basically getting the data that you need. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later as we see the mockups and how these are all working together. Okay, so don't worry about it. This is just the introduction as we go to the mockups. So let's go to the next level. So this level is getting the data. Let me, okay, I'm sorry, I have my, so these data now are coming up to our system, and they are going to the clinical side backend. This clinical side backend, you can think it of having two sides, okay? One is the computer side, which have two subsystems, if you wanted to call them this way. One is the executor, that the AI, okay? We don't, as programmers, we don't like to call this AI, okay? We like to give them different names, but this is a real AI engine, okay? So the BDA engine that you see over there is basically an AI machine and is a very nice, heavy statistical machine that works and gives you, and you can make and run models. I will tell you about the models in a minute. The other system that is over there is the decision support system. Here. Now, the decision support system is a completely different animal, okay? The decision support system is a rule-based system. That means we create the rules and the system runs across the data and reads the rule, okay? And then with the rule, it gives you a message. The AI engine is completely different. It's looking at the data and it's trying to figure out from the model that you have trained him, it tries to figure out what are the patterns that you have taught him, okay? And he's looking through the data to find these patterns. So there are two different ways of looking at the same data from two different systems, okay? And the third but not least system is this one, and this is the one that you've been that you doctors will be working with it, is the dashboard, and of course with its own visualization. Now we decided to call it dashboard, but this is going to be a pretty complicated application. Don't think that this is a baby application. This is going to be pretty involved in the sense that it's going to give you data about your patients. It's going to give you data. It's going to tell you what decisions the DSS took through the rules that you have created, and it will also show you what the AI engine is thinking or what it sees in the data. Okay, so you can think that this dashboard is not a simple dashboard. Of course, you will have your visits, you will have your everyday work and the data that you can see. If, for example, he took his pills, as I was talking with Ageliki, one of the main thing is which pills he didn't take. Okay, this was a problem. Which pills he didn't take? You have to know, because if he didn't take a very important pill, you have to know and call him up or do something. You know, maybe for 2 days he didn't take his coagulant. Very bad. Okay, as we said, Houston will have a problem. Okay, so let me go back, sorry, here. So the actors working on these subsystems is of course the hospitals and the doctors and the clinical teams working on this. Oops, again, I do it. I'm sorry, my system, my screen is on my right side, so I change screens. Let's see, you can see my, there, yeah. Okay, so here you are as an actor and working on this system. Now, let me give you an overview on the top system also, so you realize what exactly is going on and what the system is doing now. Now we have the Global Insights Cloud. Now, I have to say that the clinical site backend is for each hospital. So that means the data for each hospital are different, okay? Now the top, which is the business intelligence dash AI training dash the decision policy and all these thingies that are over here. You will not be working directly with it, but this system is going to federate all the data from all 6 hospitals, okay, anonymized. You cannot distinguish from where the data came from and which is the patient, okay. And at this level, we will train the data. Let me point my. So here is the real AI engine. This is where he's sitting. Okay, this is where the statistician tells the system what to look for or not to look for, or what to find, or what is his or what he's finding. So we're training the model in this top level, and this is done usually by either a data scientist or a data scientist that is a clinical expert, or somebody that knows and understands what exactly the data are doing. Okay, now we have a new system that we haven't showed up to you up to now, which is the decision policy and support system. So how this will work, I will paint you a mental picture how this thing will work. This is going to be, you will be able to get a piece of data from all this federated repository up into your system and be able to create a policy. Okay, so and run, if you wanted to put it this way, and what if analysis on this little system. So basically, if you have ever used your Excel and used the what if analysis, it's going to be something like this. So you will have a data set, as we like to call them, okay, and this data set will be analyzed through some kind of decision and what if support. Okay, so this again, also over here, sorry, same thing. There is, of course, a dashboard. Oops. There is always, again, a dashboard over here that will be able to train the models, that will be able to be used for checking the decision and policy support system, that you will be able to send the trained, as you train the data models, you will be able to send them to the clinical side backend. Okay, so you as doctors, you will not have anything to do from here, but the system will send you all these models and it will analyze the data and give you information as they're coming in. So I hope I painted a pretty good mental picture of how the system is designed up to now. And Gianluca, you want to go to our first?
Yeah, George, thank you. As I said before, the Global Insight Cloud and Clinical Backend will be specifically treated in another session. Today, we are going to work on the bottom-up part, specifically on the mobile app, but obviously there is some connection also with the age and the devices, probably. So now let's go into the mockup, and then we will start working all together in the mural. But please now conclude the presentation. So other 10 minutes are enough for the mockups?
Yes, only an instruction, please. When you show the mockup, I will follow your instruction, but please refer to the header, the footer, and the body so that the participants that are following you already every time know what you are talking about. So it's like saying, you know, you will always find header, body, and footer. I don't know who will present, but I will follow you. And when you say skip to the other, I will.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll take you through them. No problem.
Perfect.
So this is our first screen on the left here. Let me put my pointer. There it is. So this is our first screen that comes up. Okay, and of course it asks you for what type of language you want to use. Okay, that's an easy one. You don't want me to tell you anything more about this. Okay, I think I have covered all the languages, and that's an easy one. So the next one is we try to in my mind, I try to make everything as simple as I can, in the sense that since we already know who the patient is, we don't need to know. You would just press that I am the patient or that I am the carer. This will light up, and then you just type in your password. So this will be faster than putting username and all that. But if you feel that we need a username, we have no problem. We can do it with a username. Okay, now let's go to our main screen, and this is the one which is of interest, which is this one. Now, I created two versions of this, but they're basically the same. There's only a difference down here in, let me point to you. There's only a difference down here in the buttons. So I have created two versions of this main screen. One is with all the buttons as you see them now, and there's one with only 5 buttons that you can, then you will have pop up for the rest ones. But let's take first the idea of the main screen. So what is the idea of the main screen? The idea of the main screen is that when you wake up in the morning and you turn on the system, messages are queuing from different parts of the system. So for example, don't forget to take your medicine. So from the medicine subsystem, there is a message telling you that you have to take your medicine. From the weather subsystem, another message tells you that today's conditions will be cool. Stay, if you can, please stay at home today. Okay, from your local, I'll tell you about these two screens in a minute. With your local, from the gateway that we were talking about a minute ago, you will get the room temperature, and it's telling you that there's something wrong and your room temperature is too low. Okay. Another message could be something like you haven't drank enough water. I'll show you the screen right next to, which will be about the water input. Okay, so there's a new questionnaire, as you see over there. There's a new questionnaire. Please fill up this questionnaire. So this main screen is basically a screen that gives you the in the morning day information that what you have to do. Okay. Now, this is one of Yanis's approach. Okay, over here, which these are the pop-ups. Well, no, they're not these ones. Okay, all right. Okay, but you can. I'll show you to you for a minute later the difference between the screens. But let's go through the screens and we'll talk about this. So this, okay, this is the version of the screens that are one with all the buttons. Okay, there is another version with the same screens with pop-ups. Okay, with one main screen with 5 big buttons, and then you just touch and it will pop up. Okay, exactly the same way you use Facebook. So let me go to this one here. You can see me, I hope. Okay.
Yeah.
So this
please use your pointer, George, so that we can see where you are.
This is the device screen, very simple. It's not for everybody. This is basically for the administrator. It's just for you to see what is connected to your application and your device. Okay, by the way, we have the device here. You can see it. We have one of the devices here. Okay, we'll show it to you in a minute how it works. Okay, let's go to the next screen. So this is a simple screen. Also, this screen is the administrator, just for you to understand. This is the administrator screen for you to add devices. That will be only be done by either a doctor or some IT or an IT doctor that will be assigned to this specific job to connect the devices. Okay, so it will have an administration function. That's why I put the admin there. What's the next one? Right, next one.
Okay. George, sorry to interrupt you. Can we go back to the second, Gianluca, before you explain the devices? Because I think the footer, the detail of the footer was not explained, if I'm not wrong. So
this
why
you included
why did you include this let's say 3, 6, 7, 14 icons?
Yes.
If those are for data entry, if those are for let's say highlighted when the patient has to do, if there is some automation behind, or if it is just if they are just button. Can you please figure out how this works, please?
They are going to be working exactly the same way that your Facebook works. When you touch, it will move to the next screen. Okay, so let's see which ones are there. So it's the questionnaires. Okay, again, only the questionnaires that can be answered by the patient. There is charts. I'll show you the chart later. So you will have some special charts that you can see, and how is the patient wellness, if you wanted to put it this way, is. This is the sleeper. The next button is the sleep button. Okay. Let's see if I can get over there. Yes. Okay. The next button is the sleep button. Don't go too far. Okay. Which will come from the tracker, from your hand tracker. Okay. So we will tell you, we will see the screen in a minute. The next one is the medication. What are your medications and if you took them or not, which is very, what is something that we need here. Adherence to medication is to remind everybody. Okay, messages. So messaging to, this is going to be an offline system. It's not going to be online, but you can send and receive messages from the patient to the clinical team and the clinical team to the patient. We said from the other side is the clinical team, and we said that from this side is the patient. Okay, so whoever wants to answer can answer in the same message. Okay, Local weather is from your local devices. It's coming from our local, either from our local devices or from outside, which is the weather. Okay. Pressure pulse. This comes directly from this little machine over here. Yes, everybody knows this. Okay. And the data are coming directly from this one. Oxygen sensor. That reminds you something. There it is. Okay. Temperature. As I was talking to Angeliki, temperature is for some specific people very important, and they have to know what is the temperature of the patient. So this will be inputted by the user himself. So he will take his temperature in the morning and he will input it. It's for some specific reasons they want to know the temperature. Activity. Did you do your activity today? Did you walk? Did you run? Did you go up the stairs? What did you do? So this will be through the activity tracker coming from your watch. Weight. This comes from the weight scale. We'll talk about the weight scale in a minute. And these data are automatic and coming from the weight scale. Automatic are pressure, pulse, oxygen, activity, sleep are automatic, and weight. Okay. VADs and temperature are manual, and water input are manual. Okay. The next one is the VADs. With these specific patients, they will have to manually pass the numbers. And of course, very important is the image. Whenever they feel that they need to send an image to their doctor, it's good to be able to take a picture and upload it to the system. Okay, and then send a message that I did send you an image, please check it, blah, blah. Okay, these are the basic things of
Sorry, I have a question. So those icons are going to be in every screen?
Yes, yes, they're going to be in every screen. So it's exactly like Facebook. You will just touch and you will go to the next screen.
Okay.
Like Facebook.
Yeah, I think the question is whether the footer, we call the footer, this area, is always present. Correct?
It's always present, yes.
Yes, yes, this is the question.
Yes, it's always present. Okay.
Okay, George, do you have the chance to be just a bit faster, because we are short in time? We have spent already 25 minutes on the mock-up. So
yeah,
I don't know if you have the chance to show each of them or you prefer to show the bigger picture, but I follow you. But please take in mind that we are just a bit time boxy, let's say. So
great. Let's go to one automatic screen. For example, this one.
Okay, perfect. I'm coming.
So this one is from the pressure meter, which we have right here. Okay, so I'm not sure if we're gonna need the sync button, but we left it there. Automatically, the tension meter, because we have tested it, it will send the data to this, for example, pressure screen. Okay, systolic, diastolic, and pulse, as you see it over here. So I cannot tell you if we're gonna need the sync button. But that's how it will work. Let's go and take the VAD screen, which I think is the important manual screen. And basically all the rest of the logic is exactly the same. So the automatic screens, now this is the VAD screen, okay? So in this VAD screen, our patient must give us whatever he sees on his little display, which is the VAD flow, VAD speed, VAD power, and VAD pulsatility index. And if he has a battery alarm, a low flow alarm, or a control failure, okay? When he enters all his data, he just press the send button, okay? And the data are uploaded to the system, all right? It will be that simple, nothing more complicated. You want to go to the next one just to say something about the weight screen. We had a problem with the weight machine since it creates a little electricity. Okay, so this screen is not going to be exactly this way, because we're going to remove this body fat and body mass index and all that, because unfortunately these little scales put out a little bit of power, okay, to the body of the patient. So we're gonna have automatically only the weight and the rest, for example, body fat or skeletal measure, the body mass index, for example, we can do it through an algorithm. Okay, so we will only have the weight.
Sorry, we have a question from Luciano. Do you want to answer
No,
now?
just finish. It's a general question, but you can finish your
Okay, we collect after. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing, right next one to the one with the water, please.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. Okay, what happens here is that we have to know, as we said, very important parameters are the body temperature, water in and water out. Now, calories per day, it's okay. We can skip that. But I think for what you guys are looking is these three parameters was very important, and they have to be right now manually entered. Okay, which is the body temperature of the day in the morning or how many times, and water in and water out. George, yes. What are the little screens on the bottom is what you sent the last time. It will be a little screen that will show you whenever you push the send button or the sync button or whatever button that you press, then you will have a reading here so that you know what you sent the last time. For example, if it's wrong and you don't want to send it, okay, you don't have to press the send button. Okay, maybe we'll have a sync button or something and resync, for example, the pressure meter. Alrighty. Okay.
This is the last measurement you have sent.
Yes, it will be the last measurement you have sent to the system.
We have to see, we have to check how to avoid confusion with the many measurements. But we have to define the right message there to avoid confusion. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, this is very good because you need to have a confirmation that the real data was sent to the device and to the system.
To the system. That's it. I have basically the rest of the screens are the logic is exactly the same. Nothing else changes. The idea is exactly the same. Maybe let's see charts for 1 minute, just for the hell of it. Let's see the one that's charts. So you have to know how you're doing, how the pressure was for the week, how your temperature was for the week, how your pulse was for the week. So we have little buttons that you can press, and you will be able to see how your pressure, temperature, weight, oxygen, okay, body fat we won't have, unfortunately, but sleep, steps, all this we're gonna have, okay? And if we need something other, we can add it later. Okay, for example, visceral fat, unfortunately, we will not be able to have it, okay? Due to this little change that we cannot have a power through the human body. This little voltage.
Which one not, George? Sorry.
The visceral fat.
Okay. I
will
will
not be able to have it because unfortunately it uses a current. It passes a current to the body, and it's a warning that people that wear, which as I figured out later, talking to Angeliki, that is most of the people wearing a pacemaker, so you cannot put any power on anybody. Okay, no current. No currents. So unfortunately, it uses the current method, and yeah, that's not very good for us. All right.
So any other screens that you want to show to the participants, or?
No, I'm happy. I think they get the idea. The rest are exactly the same. The idea is the same in all screens. Nothing else changes. It's just, as we said, the different kind of measures, but they are all the same. And we can show you also, if you like to, we can show you one of the measures being read right now. We can show you the our little oximeter here working. We can do that later, whatever.
Okay. Thanks, George. So let me just stop share for a minute. So the idea right now is inviting participants to join the mural so that they become... Please,
Gianluca,
Matteo.
there is a Luciano, an answer pending
Great,
from Luciano.
sorry. Please, Luciano.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting. No, just a general comment. First of all, congratulations on the design and the look of the entire app and functionality that at least for a non-technical person, to me, looks very nice, and it seems quite user-friendly, although the icons in the bottom may be small, but yeah, it depends on the phone. I have a general comment. So have you tested how long would it take every day to a patient to do all this? Because my impression is that if we are requiring to the patients to fill in too many information and to stick to many things, after a few weeks, they are not going to do anything. So just as a general thing, instead of asking too many things, I'm kind of worried that we should try to focus on what is really needed and what is achievable for an everyday life for patients that may be well or maybe not that well, or maybe not that willing to enter everything every day. I'm thinking, for example, at the amount of water in and water out. So this means that you should every day count how much water are you entering and how much water are you peeing. So this is something that you can do when you are sick in the bed, but if you have a kind of semi-normal life, you are not going to do it.
Well, I guess if I have realized how this thing works, it's for you and the type of patient. For example, the VAD patient should pass his VAD data every day. A transplant patient, it would be nice if he'd pass his temperature every day.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that on our hand we can discuss on the clinical side. To me, it does not make sense that the transplant patients take his temperature every day. We never tell them to do. So it's something that I mean, I don't know. Just as a general consideration, and this is something that we may discuss and we may reflect upon on the clinical side, because my fear here is that of course on the scientist level, on the engineering level, it would be ideal to have as many information as we wish every day or multiple times a day, but on the other hand we have to face with the quality of life of the patients and the willingness of patients to fill in and to follow this every day. So okay. we can, and I don't know, this is just a general consideration that we should think of.
Yeah, I think in the last version of the protocol, we remove temperature and we remove the fluid balance.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Just
to comment that George Del Toro can make these interfaces appear as often as we like. So if we need to measure the temperature 2 times a week, then we can have this temperature pop-up appearing, interface appearing 2 times a week. So this actually, as Mercedes was saying, this really depends on the protocol itself. So whatever you decide out of this to be measured, George can measure them. So it's up to the clinical partners to say, I understand the point of usability and adherence to the whole procedure that Luciano said. So this is up to you to say, okay, imagine that we are just computerizing the normal follow-up, let's say, procedure of these patients. So please define the frequencies of the measurement, the ones that ensure that, okay, after 2 weeks, they will keep on monitoring their health with our system. And Del Toro can adjust the frequencies once a week, twice a week, 3 times a day, whatever it's needed.
Yes, Luciano, I will be taking the frequencies from the clinical protocol. So if you tell that this type of patient has to do it 2 times a week, it's fine with me. Okay. Also about as you said very, very correctly, that these are the small buttons. Yes, this is version that you see here is the small buttons, but if you go to Basecamp, you will find both versions that have big buttons and small buttons. Okay, big buttons are with pop-ups. Okay,
Okay.
the same buttons but with pop-ups.
All right, Gianluca, please go ahead.
Perfect. So as I was saying, there are already a few questions from the participants. Now you will have, as participants, a chance to jump on the mural, have a look at the mock-ups, and use the stickies to leave your observations. So first of all, I will just stop sharing a second, and we'll put the link to the mural on the Zoom chat. Please, when you click on the link, enter with your name so that we can understand where are you on the mural. So just a second. And this is the link. Welcome, Stamatis. I've seen that there's someone that has joined us in the meanwhile.
Hello, Gianluca. Hello, everybody.
So,
yes, carry on.
Morning, welcome. I will share the screen for a second, so to give you the instruction. We have to work here. If you go on the link, there's a playground where I invite you to double click to understand how the stickies can be created, and you can, as I was saying, change the color if you wish, and please try to edit something because we will use it during this morning. If someone of you is having some troubles with mural, please let me know because I'm here for giving you help. There's no problem. I know that this is something new for maybe all of you, so there's no anxiety, let's say. So please. Sorry, maybe you have seen that I have lost the connection. Excuse me. Is it okay with mural with you all? Okay. Hi, does it work? It works perfectly. Great. Please play with this area because this is the aim of the thing. Luciano, have you tried? Bastian, have you tried to work with it?
I tried to put a question on a sticker. Did you see it?
Does it work?
On my side is working. I don't know if you.
Yeah, the question is, does it work? Maybe it's yours.
No.
This one.
No, I wrote a question. How will we manage the translations of the buttons and functionalities?
I don't see it.
I put a sticker because I'm seeing a dashboard. I'm seeing a board with all the the icons that George showed us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On the top of the Canva, there's a blue area where you can put the stickies to exercise.
Ah, okay. I didn't put the stickers in the right place. Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
It's enough that you were able, so
okay. Now I saw it. Okay.
So the question is for the clinicians. If you have understood how it works, we can jump to the next exercise that is related to the mock-ups that George has shown. So I'm asking directly to the clinicians, is it okay for you with this way of writing down notes? If you're having troubles, please tell me. You can even, if you have any observation to recreate as a sticky, put on the chat on Zoom and I can create it as a sticky if there's some trouble. Okay, I've seen that there's a question here. So please say yes so that we can move.
Yes.
Perfect.
Means yes.
Perfect. Luciano, yes. Angeliki, is okay for you? Perfect.
It is okay for us. Yes.
Great. So as I was saying, if you go on the left of the screen of the mural, there's the stickies legenda. So for the Onassis, the stickies will be yellow. For the alma mater, they will be orange. For Essen, they will be red. And for Madrid, Fersermas, they will be gray. So if you go on the mobile for patients use mockup, where there are all the mockups, you can use the stickies that I've generated. It's easy. You can drag and drop. You can move easily. And if you need to create others, it's double click. So each university will have an different color. So please use them for, let's say, 5 minutes to put your observation near the mock-ups that George has showed. So I will put the timer, the 5 minutes. And so from this moment, you have time to move from screenshot to screenshot and put your observations, questions, whatever. Is it clear?
Yes.
Perfect. Enjoy.
Να τα δούμε ένα-ένα, εμείς είμαστε εδώ, για πρώτα ένα-ένα να τα δούμε.
I will stop share so that there's no confusion and you can focus on your mural. So I remember yellow is for Onassis, red is for Essen, orange is for Bologna, and gray is for Madrid. Don't hesitate, put your observation, please, because they will be useful for George and his team to understand how to assess and refine.
Sorry, Gianluca, you must add NKUA.
Okay, I will put another time another color, so
Yes,
it's another
another color and the name of National Capodistrian University, the Atticon Hospital.
My apologies, didn't know. I will add another color for them.
Okay. That's why we are team.
NKUA, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
But actually, I have logged in via my iPhone and I can't use it.
Okay, it's tricky with the iPhone, but if you prefer, you can put on chat your observation and I can recreate them as stickies.
Okay, thank you.
Or you can even say it loudly and I can write them down, no problem. So I've seen that there are a few from Madrid. Luciano, do you need a hand, you and your colleague, for the stickies, or?
No, I'm, let's see, am I muted? Okay. No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Okay. No, I'm okay. I'm putting my stickies now.
Perfect. So I will give you another 2-3 minutes. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that you can have time.
Δεν μπορούμε να τα ανοίξουμε εμείς περισσότερο, είναι ότι μας έδειξε εκείνο. Γιατί αυτός κυρίως εδώ. Sorry.
Two minutes left. Talking to Essen, do you need more time to put your observation, or are you fine already? Because I don't see the red ones as stickies. Okay, let's try to make a check. Talking to Sermas. Sermas, you're okay with your observation? And talking to Madrid?
Yes. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Luciano, are you okay
Yes,
already?
yes, I'm okay.
Perfect. Bastian and his team, are you okay? Okay, perfect. I've seen the thumbs up. Thank you. Angeliki, are you okay?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Perfect. NQUA, let's try to understand how to move further because of the problem with the iPhone instead of. But so let you understand what we are going to do. Right now, you had the chance to see all the mock-ups that George has prepared with his team. There are a few observations like this one: how will we manage translation of the buttons and functionalities? So George, if you are able to answer in a few seconds, I pass you the ball. There's this question: how will we manage the translations of the buttons and functionalities?
Of course, yes. Okay, this is not that hard as it sounds. So we will create an Excel for you in one language, English. We will do the Greek. Don't worry about that. And then we will send you this Excel. We can put it all also online, and then you can get in and just write it. The difficult part is not the translation of the buttons and the functionalities is kind of easy. The difficult ones are the questionnaires, which are very specific, are country based, and the translations must be exact. So the meaning, for example, if I ask him how did you take your pills today, whatever is that questionnaire, okay, the meaning must be the same in all 5 languages, okay. We cannot escape that. So from the questionnaires especially, we must be very careful that they are the questionnaires that we're asking the same question to the same person all over, because the computer will get one answer, okay. So for it to be able to read the data, so the computer has a multiple choice. It will have 5 answers, 6 answers, 10 answers, whatever, doesn't matter. But the computer will have one answer, okay. It will take back and it will process this thing. So we must convey the meaning correctly.
Let me add another information. I'm asking the participants on the mural to follow me. So there will appear, Gianluca asks you to follow him. Please click on it so that you can see what I'm adding on the mural. There's another question, George, that says, how information about daily activity, continuous HR and variability and sleep is synchronized from the Fitbit? And this is a question from Madrid.
Yes, it's a good question, but the Fitbit is the easiest. Believe me, is the easiest of all, because Fitbit is open, and as long as you create an account on the Fitbit, we have a question here, but let me not get into that now. Fitbit gives you everything that the tracker is getting. It's the data that you can get from this tracker is unbelievable. So the question is, we'll have to filter what we need, which is sleep and walk, and maybe we'll see about calories. We'll talk about it, but it's much easier, believe me, to get it from the tracker. The tracker has unbelievable information.
Okay,
yes, okay, but my question was, because you haven't created a specific screen for Fitbit.
Yes, there is a Fitbit. No, there's no specific screen. It's sleep, which is from the tracker, and activity. Those two are from the tracker.
Okay, but in this screen, there's no sleep. It's only in the bottom of the screen.
Yes,
Okay.
you're right. There are 2 different versions of these screens. You see only the full and small buttons version. There's another version with big, like the ones that you see here, like the ones you see here. I think you can see my pointer, hopefully.
Oh, sorry, please.
You can see my pointer there. It's another version with bigger buttons and pop-ups, which will do the same function as the one before, as the small buttons. The only good thing with the small buttons, with the big buttons, is that you can put more and add more, or remove and put arrange different ways. This is a one for all. Okay, my first idea was one for all, and then I decided, yeah, okay, let's make a different version with bigger buttons and pop-ups, okay, which will do the same function. The idea is the same, except you will have pop-ups.
Okay, thanks, George. So only reading the information that someone has put, there are some information related to this screen that say, please follow me, remember to follow me. Click on follow Gianluca. So this is something like, maybe simplify it as a stick or a cross, not other messages in the screen. It's not a question, perfect. So we will explore further later. Maybe there are too many icons. We can simplify on measurement messages. So we are only reading the comments, no more. This is a typo, systolic instead of systolic, no problem.
Let me say something about the medication screen. It's basically a simple screen. If he says, I took my medicine, I took all my medicine, the computer will not ask any more questions, okay? So there will be, the computer will try to home on what he did not take, okay? That's the idea of this medical screen. So if basically he said, I took them, which is the first option, no problem, bye. The computer will not ask anything else, okay? Did you take your medical, your meds in the morning? Great, fantastic. I took them at a different time. That's good also, no problem. I forgot them. I forgot.
So you can customize the questions.
Exactly.
So the only questions that are needed.
Exactly. It will keep on asking whatever he doesn't know and needs more information. Okay.
Okay. So I think that there was the typo, and okay, there's on this screen for what concerns the VAD, there's a sticky that says time of the alarms. Maybe you can add something more, Sermas. What do you were thinking about with this time of the alarms, please?
Okay, so I think when a patient has an alarm, they should put the type of alarm, the time, and the duration of the alarm.
Okay.
If it's possible.
So the time of the alarm and the
Duration.
duration. Okay.
Great. Okay.
Perfect. Added. And I think, okay, there's another sticky that says on this screenshot, no temporary water calories. Please say something further so that we can understand the meaning.
Yes, so it's the same that Dr. Potena said before. In our protocol, I think we removed the temperature, calories, and water intake. So this screen is not necessary, I think.
Okay, so George, this is something that doctors can eventually skip, correct?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, okay.
We can take it out. No problem. Yeah.
So you can turn on, turn off depending on the needs.
Yes, we can turn it on or off from the setup.
Just one short interruption. Do we have a if then go to a way, for example, if the patient tells us that he's not feeling well, then we ask for temperature? So would we skip temperature completely, or would we just add temperature in a flow diagram whenever the patient is feeling unwell?
Guys, you tell me. I am not a doctor.
This is up to you. I mean, Del Toro can do it. I mean.
Yeah, of course, because I think temperature is a useful parameter, especially in a bad patient who might develop any kind of drive infection. So I wouldn't exclude it completely. I agree that we should not ask for it regularly, like in a daily or weekly base, but I think we should open some kind of a chat floor that it comes into question once the patient is not feeling well.
So maybe, Bastian, we can have the temperature, let's say, interface available, but this will never pop up unless you ask the patient to fill in the temperature.
So
Yeah.
there should be a screen or a button that is I'm not feeling well or something like that, and then maybe you can put the temperature.
Well, there can be a screen. I mean, if you push one of these small buttons that they are right at the end, the many buttons that we have there, we can find the temperature. And so what I was saying is, if I got what Bastiano was suggesting is that, okay, eventually the doctor thinks that we need a measurement, a temperature measurement, and then he can ask the patient through the chat to provide his measurement, and then he can open the button. He can press the button and fill in the temperature. Is this the process?
The question is whether it should be in a chat or if we just make a kind of an algorithm, you know. So if the patient on a regular basis is giving information of his very own status, and then we feel it is necessary for the patient to tell us the temperature, this might happen automatically, not within a chat. Because I believe in a midterm or long-term way, this might be an important parameter for the artificial intelligence to provide any further information.
Well, unless you give us the algorithm, or we always keep the temperature data in the study in order to have the data to define the algorithm. This cannot be done by us. So either we keep all the temperature data, and we try, and the data analysts try to find an algorithm for data mining, which means that we will be recording all temperature all the days. And as Luciano said, this may be a problem. Or you provide us with an algorithm saying that whenever this, and this, then bring out a pop-up message for the temperature, or let the temperature interface appear. Yorgo, am I right? George the
Yes, exactly. Bastian, let me give you a rule of thumb. What you want from data is for them to be consistent. That is the word that you have to keep in your mind. So it's better to tell us either, as George said, either an algorithm that you feel that, for example, his pressure or something is going wrong, and for 3 days, and he needs to start adding his temperature, I don't know, or he's this type of patient, or blah blah, some kind of rule, okay, that the computer will figure out that this rule now applies, and it will show the screen to the patient, okay. But keep in your mind, all of you, that what you need is consistent data. You have to train the model with consistent data, okay?
George, we have the last question, then we have 5 minutes pause, so you can have a break and rest a bit. There's this one that says, about weather, isn't easier to make it uploaded by a weather app?
Weather app, what exactly you mean?
I think this is from Bologna. Laura, I don't know if you can add something to the...
But it's not the patient that is entering the weather. The weather is taken directly from the weather site. It's Copernicus or another site externally.
Okay. So
it's gonna be uploaded by the system, by the computer. from a
So
weather.
Whether
there's
it's po-
there's
it's,
no
it's,
the,
it's also
but
pollution
sorry.
and so on.
But I think the patient don't have to see the weather conditions or other, because I remember that we said that the Raspberry Pi are going to receive the weather conditions and send them to the cloud, or not, George?
Yeah, this is an open question. If the patient needs to see the weather information coming from the Raspberry Pi,
Yes, because we said that maybe this is not necessary to interact with the mobile app. Then send it immediately to the cloud directly.
well, Mary, the way I understand it here is that the Raspberry Pi is getting the information from the Copernicus service, and then the mobile device is getting the information from our cloud.
Yes, but
Just-
we have discussed it before, and I remember that we said that it is not necessary. But okay, if you say that it's necessary, yes, we can do it. But I don't know from the doctor's place.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because we have agreed not to do it like that. It's the weather conditions. Maybe it's not something necessary for the patient to see. But if the doctor says that it's necessary, of course we can apply.
So the question that Mary asked is if the patient needs to see this, and if he needs to see this, an open question is how often this is to be updated. Because we all have some weather applications in our device, but they are synchronized. I mean, mine was synchronized 10 minutes before ago, as I see my mobile phone now. So, how does this need to be synchronized? If it needs to be shown.
So trying to recap before the break, we have already seen all the mock-ups. There were a few questions that George or Yorgos have clarified. So the idea is having a break. Matteo, I'm talking to you too, a 5 minutes break. We reconnect at 35 past 10, 25 to 11, and then we make the further step. So first of all, thanks for all these minutes that we already spent together. If everything is clear, we make a pause and then we restart in 5 minutes.
All right. See you in 5 minutes. Is it okay for everybody?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Matteo. Welcome back,
Sei
Laura.
muto. You are muted.
No, I think nope. I'm muted. I'm muted.
No, no, I didn't have the headphones.
Okay. So Matteo, I need your hand for a second because I was compiling the name of the clinicians for the next step. So I put Luciano, Laura, Angeliki, Stamatis, Bastian, Mercedes. Have I missed someone? I hope no. If so, please, I need your.
Matteo, you are muted.
Right.
Thank you,
Dr. Bistola and Petros Nikolopoulos from NQA.
So there's Petros and the other?
Vasiliki Pistola, but it's an emergency right now. It's an emergency
So he's
situation.
not here.
Okay, only Petros. Perfect. So we have 7 clinicians. Okay.
Yes.
I have only a comment about the Fitbit because I use it from 2 years. And Fitbit overestimates the steps. It's about 1,000 or 2,000 sometimes, because it depends the movement of the arms and on the steps.
Mm.
I checked this on the Google Fit on my phone. I noticed the difference between my phone and the steps, but with the Fitbit. Sometimes phone is 5,000 and Fitbit is 7,000.
Okay, I put a sticky to remind this. So you are saying that it's quite different counting the steps instead of the movements of the arms or whatever. So it's okay. There's an overestimation of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
thank you.
if I'm walking like this.
Yeah.
Or like this.
Makes sense. I'm inviting, if you have already returned to the desk, please switch on the camera. Thank you, George, so that we can make the further steps. I remember that we are just a bit time boxed. I hope you understand that is a need. Okay, Yorgos, I'm putting a sticky as your answer on the mural.
Okay, thank you.
I want to say something about the weather. The idea of this system is not to give the weather to the patient. The idea here is, okay, to give him a basic idea of daily weather, but the idea here is to make a rule. Our doctors will create a rule that will tell, for example, we have a patient with a VAD, and the temperature is 5 degrees. You can put a little message, a little rule that says, if you are a VAD patient and the temperature is below 5 degrees, send a message to the patient, please stay at home, okay? Don't move today. It's not a good idea. What I'm saying, these little rules that the DSS can take very easily, okay? And the doctor might not remember, but the computer will remember all the time. Okay, and these little rules are very nice for specific types of patients. Think that we have a rule-based system. Okay, so we can create real rules, and these rules can give feedback to the patient. Very, very simple. Okay, simple rules. They don't have to be very complicated.
George, if you want to add your answers sometimes on the, oh, please.
Sorry, yes, but the thing, George, is that we discussed on previous meetings and emails that we will have an average of temperature, for example, in the end of the day, and then send it to the to the cloud. But this is the case that we are talking about. This is an average temperature that the clinicians and the patients are going to see in their mobile phone, or not?
Yeah. They can. Where the computer is going to take the data, it's okay. It's a little bit of our problem, okay. But what they will see. But for example, since the polling will be done every, for example, 2 hours, the DSS can still poll the data and send you a little message. Okay, the DSS will keep on working all the time. It won't stop.
The question is different, Yogo. The question of Mary is, if we are showing the weather data, then the patient, the average user, expects to see the latest data on weather. So either we will be
not an average, yeah,
not the average ones, exactly. So either we need to continuously looking at Copernicus and get the latest data, or we don't show the weather data to the patient, but we, of course, we keep all the information on the background. So this is Mary's point, I think. Mary, did I?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something we can decide, but I think we don't need to make a weather application. I mean, there are a lot of weather applications out there that can do the job. We don't need to copy another weather application.
Okay. One suggestion is if we are going to have, as I hope so, a session with some sample of patients, obviously in the preparation we can ask all these questions. What they would like to see, what if they like to be notified, or if they want to have a specific screen where they can go and see the actual data. So this is part of, I think, something that if clinicians cannot decide themselves on behalf of the patient, we can ask to the patient themselves.
Perfect. Thank you, Matteo.
Perfect.
I put a sticky on the canvas so that we can collect the information. So as we were saying, we are trying to assess and refine these mock-ups that George and his team have developed. So after his presentation, you already had the chance to put some question and observation, but you know, in this moment, it's useful for George and his team to have a bigger picture, let's say, feedback related to their work. So we will have, I ask you another time to follow me on Mural so that you can see what we will do. We will do this session that is called a Rose, Thorn and Bud. And this is useful to give feedback to people in a way that helps people understand Rose is the pink post-it, the pink sticky that says observation of what went well. So if there's something bigger picture of the mock-up presentation that you think that is great, it works really well, write on the pink sticky. If there's something, the thorn, that for you did not go well, please use the blue sticky. And if there's something that for you is strategic, crucial, and there's a huge potential and must be developed further, and you need to focus more attention on it, please use the green sticky. So it's like saying, I want to give a feedback to all the mock-up session, to how it works, how we will work with patients. So this is something that is good, that works well, pink sticky. This is something that is tricky, I think is not going well, the blue one. And if there's something that for you has a huge potential and must be focused more attention on it and on more effort, please use the green. How we will work? You will use the stickies alone, and then we will have a conversation starting from them. Please try to use the stickies, one sticky, one observation. Don't use the sticky as a Google Doc. Be short and be focused on what you want to share. An example, try to be specific. I know George said that AI, it doesn't love, but it is an example. Don't simply write down AI. Try to make the context. AI to predict next steps for the treatment, let's say. in a way that if we read the sticky, there's already what you are focusing on, why, and what is the idea behind your sticky. I have created this area where you will find your names, Luciano, Laura, Angeliki, Stamatis, Bastian, Mercedes, and Petros. So I will give you 5 minutes starting from practically now to have a look at the mock-ups and try to understand, okay, let's say Luciano says, this is something that is really good for me. This is something that doesn't work well. This is something with the potential. Each of you will do this in the next 5 minutes. So if you're okay, I will put the timer and you will have 5 minutes to go and collect your feedbacks. Is there any question, any troubles till now? Because really, as Matteo was saying, this is an attempt for us to do this thing this way, and that is new. And if you have any observation or suggestion, we will try to follow while we're working together today. So the idea is I go here on the mock-up and okay, is already some observation from me or the others. And I say, okay, this thing is for me the best. This thing is not so well. This thing is useful to be developed further. I invite you to use these 3. If you need another, let's say, another pink, you can go here and click on duplicate. It's quite easy, but please don't create more than 6 stickies each. Otherwise, it's not so useful having too much information. Trying to be concise, on focus, and start from the best, the worst, and what needs more attention. If this is okay for you, I start the timing. So the feedback session here, please follow me. This one, you will find the circle with your names inside and the stickies. Remember, the legend of the stickies is here. Rose works well, blue doesn't work well, green has a potential. Okay, if there are no questions, 5 minutes, and please enjoy. Go to the one with your name inside.
One message for Petros, if you have some trouble, if you want to write in the chat, we can then put it in the sticky notes.
Exactly, Petros. If you say this is good, we put it on the pink. This is bad, let's say not work well. It's more just to say we put on the blue. Otherwise, if there's something to be followed as develop further, we put on the green. You write down in the chat, we create the stickies for you.
Fortunately, I can't navigate through the program and I can't do much or to have my best opinion. So
you are not using the Mural app on your iPhone?
I can't really use it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Angeliki, if you are not able to write, and please go on the sticky and click 2 times in a way that it is doable to edit. Please try, go on the sticky, double click on it, and you will be able to write down something. If you have trouble, please let me know that we can help. Is it okay, Angeliki? Does it work? Please try. I stop share so that you are not confused from the Zoom screen and the Mural screen, but I will follow on the. Okay, Mercedes is writing. If you prefer, Angeliki, we can communicate through the chat. And if you have a sticky, I can create it for you, no problem. Mercedes is already there. Okay, Bastian is okay with the stickies. Laura, are you okay with the stickies? Are you having some troubles?
Can see.
Όχι, μέσα πήγε.
Luca, maybe we can extend 5 minutes more.
Absolutely, no problems. I will add. Sorry, Laura, I missed the information because I was chatting in the meanwhile. Are you having some trouble with stickies? Are you able to create them and write down your observations?
Yes, I can't see the sticky, but I have no observation right now.
You have the link to the mural. I can share with you the link directly. Just give me a second. Okay, please go to the chat. I share with you directly the link. Okay, you are like Luciano. Okay, that's why I didn't. Okay, this is the link. If you go there on the mural, you can scroll, zoom in and zoom out. If you go to the left part, bottom of the screen, there's this feedback session. If you follow me, there's Maria, there's Angeliki.
Yes, I found it.
Perfect. That's your name, Laura. You can double click, you can edit on the post-its, remember, and you can add pink, what works, blue, what doesn't work well, and green, what has a potential and must be developed further. So Stamatis is at the same laptop of Angeliki, correct?
No, we are in different laptops, but as I wrote you to the chat, has left for the meeting of the directors of the hospital.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't recognize his surname. Thank you.
It is okay. It is okay.
Maria, I've seen that you have created yours. Thank you. Please try to edit the green one too, because it's strategic, because this is maybe the part where you can give more help to George and his team, because really saying, okay, you know, this has a potential, this must be developed further, or please try to write down something that is useful and that can help the team. Because this is really a feedback from your part, is not a judgment. Remember, this is not a judgment. This is a feedback from someone that is involved in a project. So it is useful and it's part of the game. Thanks, Yorgos.
Bye-bye. Thank you,
Enjoy your
Gianluca,
day. Thank you. Thanks a
for
lot.
the assistance. And I think that all these comments make sense for us, for all the technical guys. So thank you for organizing this. I will follow with whatever happens the next hour. Maybe it will be with you. So we hope we will make the next meetings soon. Okay.
It would be great. Thanks a lot. Enjoy. Share another time screen.
Giliki is asking whether we can hand up 50 minutes before 12:45 Greek time, I suppose. So it is 11:45 CET. Do you think, Gianluca, we can close in?
For sure, we will try. I think that we are on a good point, because now we will briefly discuss the suggestion, the observation, and we will have the, let's say, the last step when we understand what happened, why is it important, and which are the next steps. So I think that we are heading, it's doable, we'll do it.
Thank you. Because we have a call from another hospital and we are waiting a critical patient from another hospital.
No problem, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, time's up. I will share the screen so that we can follow everything. Just give me a second. Okay, perfect. Share. Here we are. So we had 5 minutes to write down some observations. So I will ask a volunteer who wants to start to share his thoughts, with only a request from my part. If you have written down a post-it, please follow me so that you can see what I do. Let's say this is my idea. Please move it to the right of the screen so that we can start collecting them all together. Who wants to start sharing really, really briefly? If the sticky talks for itself, it's better. If it's not so clear, I will ask some clarification. Who wants to start sharing? Mercedes, can I ask you to start? I've seen that you have all the 3 colors. It would be great.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Okay, so I think it's clear. We love the general design, but we should work on synchronizing what we have written in the clinical protocol with the app.
Okay, sorry, I try to interact with you too, so that we are clear for everyone. So first of all, you say the general design is nice, perfect. This is your pink. And what is your blue? What is not going well for you?
Sorry?
Your turn? What is not going so well? The blue sticky.
So we should work on synchronizing the app with the things we have written in the clinical protocol.
Okay, okay. Perfect. So what is not working well is that you have not found what you have already shared in this mockup, correct?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. And for what concerns the last one, your green one, what has potential?
No, this was a question because in the main screen, you have to choose if you are a caregiver or a patient. And then the question is, the application is going to be the same if it's a patient or a caregiver or not.
Yes, at this level, they are the same.
Okay.
Okay, I'm adding the answer from George. Thank you, Mercedes. So,
you're welcome.
Mercedes has already shared her.
One fast answer.
Please.
Okay, about the clinical protocol, I read I should be one version before. Okay, so what you see here is the previous version I had. So I haven't been shared the new protocol version. So, okay, I will check it out when.
Thank you, George. Perfect. So I don't know if Laura, once you add something, remember, if you have something that is similar to what Mercedes has shared, we can put your sticky near her sticky. So let's say we have general design is nice, she says, and there's this thing related to the protocol that was shared and the mockups that we find. What's your point of view, Laura? What are your observations?
My question is we can use it now as a clinician.
So is it possible to have a beta version to test?
Okay, there's no beta. There is a. Okay, what we did for you to know, we have created a very, very small, not beta, I shouldn't call it beta version. This is a minimum viable application, which we just test that everything works. So no, it's not yet in a beta version. It's basically a very, very, how can I put it? A test application. It's just testing the data, okay? It's not really a beta version. Let me show it to you.
Okay.
Where is it?
So Laura, your no observation in pink means that you like it, let's say. Do you hear me, Laura?
Yes, no observation.
Perfect,
okay.
Thank you.
Everything is okay.
Same was from Angeliki that says that everything is fine, no observation. So we are collecting these pink ones that say that the big picture, the whole picture is well designed and is nice. And Bastian, if you, okay, you are on the desk. Want to please share your stickies with us?
Ja, bitte. Sag mal leise dann. So my question is, so what's exactly the size of the smartphone? It's 6-point-something inch, because I'm just afraid that it's too small because it's very loaded, you know, once for the patient to use it.
Well, I have it right here.
Okay.
So as you see, you can see hopefully my hand. So yeah, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big screen. Okay. It's not very, very small. We have been playing with this idea, you know, if it's going to be a tablet or a phone. I have to tell you that I kind of like this little phone here. It really looks good.
Okay,
so you want to keep it.
So your observation is, let's say, we must pay attention to the dimension of the screen so the experience is easy for patients. Let's say something to be developed further to have a further look. Perfect.
Let me make a little observation here, which Bastian is correct. We have this, we're more into the other with the big buttons. This is with the small buttons, and I have to tell you, with the big buttons, the screens get a little bit bigger, and the pop-ups look a little bit better than this one, which has 2 rows. Okay, so you can think that this will this 2 lines will become a little bit smaller, but here it will be up this big. Okay, so I think the other one will look a little bit better than this one with the 2 lines. Okay,
So
the
George,
single line one.
you are saying that it will be easier to navigate because it will focus only on the information that you need in that moment.
Yes. It will focus better on the information that you have at that moment than this one with the 2 lines. Okay, but the idea of the screens are the same. Okay, they don't change.
Just bear in mind that all of us, and of course you especially, have a huge affinity to IT. Our patients might not have the same. Yeah, so I agree with Luciano in this. It must be as simple as possible and as big as possible for them to use.
Okay.
Because otherwise they might lose confidence and interest in using it. But
Yes,
the overall design is excellent. I like it a lot.
That's my idea, was this, to make it as simple as I could without going, don't let the guy think too much. I mean, the program will try to help him to do it by himself. Okay, that's the idea.
Okay, thank you. So, Bastian, there was this agree on the weather app idea. Could you please share something more about this pink?
Yes, of course, because we talked about earlier. I think we should just use the weather app, which is on Android or whatever it is. So we just need to synchronize on a freely available weather app. So we shouldn't consider too much in developing some kind of a known system.
May I change the color in green? So this is something that must be developed further, let's say, because pink is for what is going well. This is something that you are talking about.
Of course, yes.
Sorry,
of course, yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. That's pretty much all things I have to comment on.
Thank you. So we have. I don't find the name here.
Just saying, okay, it's fine.
Please go, Bastian, go.
Just a kind of off-topic comment. This mural app is superb. It's the first time ever I see it, and it's once you get into it, it's a very productive application. So
yeah, you struggle a bit the first moments, but when you understand how it works, it's really useful.
Absolutely.
So we are, as I was saying, there is. Okay, Petros, maybe this is yours. I would like the blood pressure to be written like it is on the machine, e.g. 140/90, not as 2 different boxes. Is it yours, Petros?
Yeah, generally the application is very nice, and but as a small detail, in order to avoid confusions. Sometimes if it's because under blood pressure it says the pulse and beat per minute, and maybe sometimes this is confusing, or just a small detail to make a comment, but generally overall it's very nice.
No problem.
Okay, I'm adding this to the group of. everything works well. Maria, please, over to you.
Okay, I also share the good criticism about the overall design. I like it. The screens look nice. I have some, I share some concerns about the size and the amount of information, but these have already been discussed. My concern, and I'm not sure about the color that I have chosen, it is about the functionality of the messages and the overall interaction. I have a concern there because if this interaction is intended for both control group and test group, the intervention group, we may have some problems there because I'm not sure whether the control group will get any feedback from the clinicians. And this is quite important because if they have the ability, the opportunity, the functionality to send a message and they don't get a feedback from the clinicians, this might be a problem. So this is a concern there about the overall interaction patterns. Okay, about the monitoring parameters and the clinical values that we measure and the sensory values that we measure, but I have some concerns about the interaction.
I have a question for you, Maria, because I'm not a subject matter expert. You say, okay, maybe there are too much buttons that can create problems with the control group participants. So who is in the control group? Clinicians?
No, in the control group, we have patients.
Okay.
Patients.
There are two groups of patients. The control group consists of patients that we collect data from them, but they do not get any feedback from the doctors, and we do not intervene as a project. The project does not produce any interventions towards the control group. On the contrary, there is the test group, the intervention group, patients again, who interact with the system. We collect their measurements as well, but they are also getting interventions, suggestions, whatever. So if both groups have the opportunity, have the ability to try to interact, to send messages to the clinicians, and the control group doesn't receive anything back, I'm not sure how this will affect the use of the system on one hand, and how we will reassure that we do not reveal who is in the control group and who is not.
Okay, so you are saying that it's strategic and crucial that both the patients group interact with this app and have a conversation with clinicians to, let's say, assess how it works, correct?
Gianluca, may I help you? What happens is there are two groups. There are two groups. One group, unfortunately, and that's written on the DOA, it says that it will not have no interaction. So he can send messages to his doctor, but he will not get an answer. Now that's not good. That's not a good show. The other group will get answers, will get the things from the DSS, will get things from the AI, but this group will not. As you were talking about it right now with Maria, I was thinking this, what we can do programmatically, okay, is as long as the computer knows that this guy is identified as a control group, then this application will stop and will not show the messages, will not show pictures, will not show all this interactive stuff. It will hide them, but it's something we have not taken a decision about this. It just popped into my mind right now as you guys were talking about it. So what I can do for you programmatically, tell my programmer to do, is if we can identify this is the key point. If the computer can identify that this patient is not from the other group, but he's in the control group, then automatically it will make these buttons disappear. But it's something we have to take a decision.
Also,
Right.
a question mark. There is also a question mark there, because if the patients know each other and interact in real life, I mean, out of the system, and they share their experiences, they will know that in my screen I also have a message button, but you don't have it. So it will also be revealing of who is who. I don't know. I'm not sure if this message should be there at all for neither of the two groups. Maybe we should skip the messages and the interactive part, at least at the first, maybe at the first phase of the trial. I don't know. I'm thinking loudly.
So you are suggesting to having the same for both the categories of patients, same kind of screens, let's say,
yes,
information.
But this of course is for our doctors to think about it and decide.
So if I understand well, we have to, when we are going to organize the workshop with the patients, we have to make two separate groups, not together, a sample of intervention patients and sample of control groups.
Which is bad. And on the other hand, I'm not sure that whether we will know from the beginning.
No. I mean, we have to have two samples. One with specific question as if they were the intervention group, other with specific question as if they were control group.
Okay, so they will.
So we cannot mix up the questions and let's say the workshop with the patients and then asking question for both cases.
Okay.
I think. But this is something that is not related to today probably, but let's put a note on that.
Perfect. So trying to recap the information, we have collected the feedback from you and from the clinicians, and for what concerns the mock-up, the versions, let's say that everyone says that it's pretty nice. So very nice app, everything's fine. Most of the participants say we have no observation, general design is nice. And this is the good part of the feedback, what we have called the rows. For what concerns things that, let's say something like a pain point, Mercedes was saying that the mockup must be synchronized with the information that were already shared, and there was a consensus on that previously were shared between the clinicians. And Georg said that in reality, Georg, you were saying, George, that this is a previous version of the mockup. There is already the new one that take this into account. Perfect. And
well,
then
I haven't seen the new protocol yet. It hasn't been
okay, clear.
to us.
Clear.
Yes.
So you will pair both when you have the chance to see it. Perfect. And Maria was saying, for what concerns the pain point, the blue, that maybe these message buttons can create problems because the project is intended in a way that the two groups of patients will receive different information depending on the category they are part of. And so this is maybe a real pain point, because if I have understood well, please correct me, these two categories will never interact because they have different information, and it's good for the project if they don't share information.
Mm-hmm.
So an alternative could be giving the same screenshots for everyone, and another will be having separate session with them in a way that they don't know that the information are different. Anything, have I missed something? Am I wrong? Because it's not so easy for me to follow this kind of thing. Maybe being the dumbest in this room is useful for you to not give for granted things. So my question, I hope they are useful. For what concerns the chances to develop further things, because there's a potential, Bastian was saying that we need to pay attention to the interface of the app, because we need to take for granted that the patients will have the experience through their smartphone, and it's useful that they are able to read easily the information. And another green sticky was related to the fact that maybe it is useful to leverage an app, weather app, and not having too much information to be put by the patient. But George was saying that in reality, you will have information from a weather website that will bring all the climate, let's say, information to the device. And another one was from Petros that say, I do prefer having blood pressure information written in a way that is maximum, minimum, so 140, for example, /90, instead of having two different boxes to be filled. And I think that if there are any other information that we have missed, something that is popping up in your mind that you want to share, we have 3-4 minutes to add something. Otherwise, if you have comment, questions, otherwise we jump to the next step. I want to only add that George was saying that the screen will be made in a way that if you are exploring a certain kind of information, that kind of information will be, let's say, bigger than the others, correct, George? So yes, you will have more focus on what you are searching for. Perfect.
I think, Gianluca, we can proceed.
Perfect, perfect.
This is how it looks right now. Okay, which is, I think it's okay. Okay, it would be nice to have a big tablet, but all right.
These are, okay, perfect, George. This is a chance for the clinicians to share in a few minutes, let's say 5 minutes. If you have already had previously experiences with this kind of app for patients, if you have already learned something thanks to those apps, if you want to add some suggestions, information, questions. Let's say I have already worked as a doctor with a patient with another kind of app, but I know that every time that patients have this kind of experience, they tend to struggle for this, they are great in this, or something like that. So really open your microphone if you want to share something, so that we can have a chance to assess the mock-up that George and his team has done, but maybe adding some previous information from your experience. So if you want to share something, you're welcome.
I'm just setting, this is the typical iPhone, okay, and right behind it is the A3, okay, so they can see the difference of the size of the iPhone to this device, to this Samsung device.
Thank you. Is there anyone that wants to share directly via microphone or via sticky? There was Laura that before we started, after the pause, the break, was saying that apps like Fitbit. Please, Laura, want to share with us what we have already shared with Matteo and me?
Yes,
yeah, maybe you have two okay. Laptops
okay.
with the microphone.
Yes, but I use it the Fitbit from 2 years, and now I use the Google Fit on my phone. I noticed the difference between the steps, because Fitbit overestimates the steps. It's about 1,000 or 2,000 more respect to my phone, because Fitbit depends on the movement of my arm, and this is for linked to the GPS. For me, it's no problem, but for a patient, the different 100 or 200 or maybe 1,000 steps, it's more different.
I see.
Thank you. It was a perfect example because Laura has brought an example with a little story. I have tried this and I've noticed this and that. So if you have any other short story to share with us that could be useful for the developers to pay attention on, please share. Something that every time your patient do or tend to do. And
yeah, maybe a question that can help if the producers of valves or pump implants, if you already experience with some application that this producer provide for the patients to add additional information, maybe that you don't like, for example, in that specific producer app that you would like to have in retention. So this is just a suggestion.
In the meanwhile, sorry, George, in the meanwhile, we have another post-it that someone is typing. Oxygen saturation might be imprecise. Could you please share? Bastian, okay, perfect.
Well, I used a Garmin Forerunner smart watch, and I always had I was always hypoxemic, though I'm quite a healthy man. So we just need to bear in mind that I assume in a VAD patient without the positivity, it might even be worse. So we just need to be aware that the oxygen saturation probably is not a precise value.
But I think maybe it's not a problem because this is going to be measured by an oximeter. So maybe we don't mind about what the feedback is shown. We have the medical certified oximeter, yes.
We should just test it in a VAD patient, actually, because I just need to be sure that this kind of cheap, whether of course it's pricey, but a cheap device, whether this is really accurate in a VAD patient.
Okay.
So probably I'm more than happy if you just send me one of these, and I just check it against a real medical device, you know, as we use on the ITU, just to be sure that it's a good measurement.
So please correct me if I'm wrong. You want to test the how accurate are those kind of oximeters that will be.
So I think that this is going to be a next step, as I remember that we have discussed, for workshops that will be the interaction with patients, and also try the devices with you, also with the clinicians for assistance.
Thank you, Mary, for adding this information. Thanks a lot.
But Mary, the point is, if we meet in person, we need patient with a VAT, and none of us is having a VAT right now. So you know, at some point we need to just use it in clinic to see whether they are working.
Okay, I think we can coordinate it and
yes, we'll see how to
look for their needs. Yes.
Thanks a lot. Any other little story, short story to give some advice to the developers and share information with everyone?
Yes, I would like to add something. Good morning to all of you.
Hi, Mattia.
I work a lot with patients and application. I install them. I try to let them use, especially cancer patients for exercise and stuff like that. And something that I've noticed many times is that patients in the app, if they use it in a long time, in a long period, they need to have a very good, let's say, value of the app. And the value cannot be just entering data for the clinicians, but they need to have an increased value of their everyday life. In my work, for example, it is exercise, is having personalized exercise program. In this project, I think is that having a direct contact with the doctors and like a real-time monitoring, I would say, even though it's one of the first time I see this project. But also in the design of the app, I would suggest to really make strong part of the messages, because otherwise patients in the long time, if they are just using the app for entering data that are useful for a clinician, I think this is not a strong motivation to be consistent in the use of the app.
So you're saying if they only have to compile and bring data, they will get bored and they will not find value in the interaction with the app. You are mute, Mattia.
Yes, at least in my experience.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So we have the time for the last sticky from Bastian, and then we will jump to the process to close the process in 15 minutes. Please, Bastian, if you want to read and share the last one.
Yes, I'm muted. No, I'm not. Well, I know that the Apple Watch is supporting heart rhythm analysis. The Fitbit does not, right? Does it?
No.
Okay, then you just need, then you can just delete it. It's fine. All right.
It has, Bastian, it has a lot of things. I'm not sure about the Fitbit exactly what was the lady talking before. I'm not sure. We can take a lot of things from the tracker. The question is, can you trust it? That's the question that comes all the time up to the table. And you know, here we need you guys to tell us how much we can trust a device like that. Now, about the Apple Watch, I have to tell you, there's a difference between all the other trackers in the market and the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch is a different beast. It's a beast that is being medically approved. The other ones do not have. They are just trackers, okay? The Apple Watch is a medical device.
Okay, understood. Well,
but yeah, Bastian, the answer is yes. Fitbit can track heart rate, and they have also the blood pressure, obviously taken in the wrist, so it's not that accurate. But yeah, well, in all the studies that we are following, we are using Fitbit Sense. That is the last generation one, and yeah, I agree with George. It is not medical device FDA approved, but it works well.
Yeah, if I may.
Of course.
Sorry, if I may, we had this discussion also in the past when we had to discuss about the devices. So this is going to be a bias that we will carry on for the entire duration of the study. This is the point. We could choose to have a medical device and invest a little bit more to a device that can give us a reliable and certified measurement and avoid other costs. Or we can choose a Fitbit, which is cheaper, but it's not reliable. So that's the point. So depending on what kind of information we want on the heart rate, and the other point that I don't think that none of us know, I don't know if any of you has any experience, is the detection of heart rate with a Fitbit in a patient who has a continuous flow LVAD, because it's not a pulsatile flow. So I personally have no idea if the Fitbit can detect the heart rate in that patient. So the point is, it's a non-medical device. Any kind of information that if we are taking medical decisions based on the information of the Fitbit, that cannot be, it's not necessarily it's going to be justifiable. So that's the point, and this is a point that has been raised like 3 months ago. But then there are other devices. We can look for other devices other than Apple Watch for with the CE mark that are for medical decisions. So this is something that we need to take into consideration, and we need to cope with in the interpretation of all our data.
Thanks, Luciano. So we will jump to the next step. Please, I invite you to follow me. We will be brief because we have to close 15 minutes before. These are three easy questions for you. I will give for each of them 3 minutes, and you will answer with stickies directly on the mural. Considering the experience that we have had together with George and all of you, the first question is, what happened? What did you notice? What facts or observations stood out? So we have spent together approximately 3 hours. What happened? It seems a naive question, but it's important to understand what are your perceptions, what did you notice, what facts or observations stood out. So I will give you 3 minutes. Please go on the mural, edit a post-it. You can create as much as you need. And after the 3 minutes, we will jump to the next question. I will add the time.
Gianluca, this is also referred to the experience with the workshop organization, or?
No, the workshop we will have, grazie Matteo, thanks Matteo, we will have questions related to the feedback in the end. So we don't mix the information, only what happened in this session related to the mockups and the conversation that you had together. Please. Please don't overthink. Just go to the from insight to the next steps box. If you follow me on the mural, you will see this great. Someone is already typing. Perfect. Angeliki, do you need a hand?
Again, I cannot type, I cannot write.
If you put it on the chat on Zoom, I will recreate it as a sticky. No problems. You're welcome.
I'm writing for you in the chat. So
Perfect,
please
perfect.
do it for me. Okay.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Okay, time's up. We wait for Angeliki, then we jump to the next question. I will read, in the meanwhile, I read what Bastian says, overall design very good. And he adds, we need to finally agree on the smart products. I feel there are still questions with regards to the smartphone, etc. And Maria says missing information like symptoms, and good feedback on retention app functionality should be uploaded according to the clinical protocol. Perfect. And general good feedback on the app designs. Okay, maybe, okay, I will copy this in the meanwhile so that you can add it. Control V, okay. Galiki says, not able to write again. In general, the feedback, okay. Let me cancel this, that is not useful. In general, the feedback was very good and really nice to meet each other and exchange ideas. Overall, nice design, thank you. So this one was general good feedback on the app design, some critical issues on the alignment with the latest critical protocol version, some pending decision on the critical issues, such as the heart rate monitoring system, the way intervention and control groups interact with the app, motivational messages. Perfect. So you have, maybe you are already writing down the next, why these things that you focus on are important. What patterns or conclusions are emerging? I don't know if you, Bastian, you have already decided to jump to the next question. You were already answering the next, or okay, perfect, thank you. So I will give you 3 minutes for this question too. So why the things that you have shared on the previous stickies are important? What conclusions are emerging? Okay, Laura, I will copy your sticky. Thank you. Please don't jump to the last question. We will go there together so that we are aligned. It's good that you have already been there because it's an important topic for you. It's a great feedback, but let's stay on this question. Why is that important? If you already answered put your answer, I can share.
Yeah, you know, Gianluca, it's very nice, these very interactive and think questions, but you know, it's also kind of time consuming. So this is, I mean, you know, we have a whole days and patience also to manage. So just
I know really well. I know.
Yeah, so.
Okay, I will start reading the answers. So let's stop the timing. Why is it important? Okay, Bastian says the smart product define our variables. And Laura says, my conclusion is we must pay attention to the accuracy of the clinical data. Maria says usability, size and amount of info, functionality. And retention app will be the key point to make this project a successful project. The app should be improved. What could you please add something to this sticky? What do you mean, for example, the app should be improved? Please.
Maria, or who was writing that? The turtle is?
I think Mercedes. I think Mercedes. Could you please add something, Mercedes, to this notion of improving?
Hi, hello. I think that the app design is correct, but I think that we should improve the app and update with the latest clinical protocol. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. The last one is still some important decisions to be taken by the clinical board. So there's a lot of attention on data, the device that will be used that will be connected to the app. And there's an attention that, as Maria was saying, that must be put on the functionality, usability, size and amount of info. So as the last question for you is, what actions make sense? So after this workshop, this meeting, what makes sense to do? Really actions, not observation. What actions make sense to be done? Give you a couple of minutes is enough because you are really fast. Okay, perfect. Let me add this. One minute left. I'm adding Laura, yours. Okay, I think that we can read the answers. Stop the timer. Okay, what action makes sense? We have a few stickies from you. Maria says to synchronize with the final version of the protocol and refine the requirements. Bastian says agree on the products with regards to budget, clinicians need / wishes and IT infrastructure. There's this one from Serma. I let you finish your editing, Sermas. I jumped to this. Consider double checking, says Laura, with open source measurements like Google Fit / Samsung Health or Weather App. And there's, I think this was from Angeliki, reviewed the final version of the protocol and make final comments. And this one says, we need a mock version of the app to be tested. Okay, let me read the Sermas. Synchronize with the latest version of the protocol, a mock-up version of the app to be tested. So these are the ideas, the action that for you makes sense to do, to put your effort on. It's basically about the devices, the technology that we will be leveraged. There's something related to the last version of the mock-up to be tested, but I think that these are the patterns, the technologies are reliable or not, and to have finally a version of the mock-up to be tested. I think, Matteo, that
we have done.
We have done. If there's time to collect the feedback, otherwise, I leave the word to you, Matteo.
Sorry, I have a last comment about the final version of the protocol.
Absolutely.
I would like to ask the clinicians. So based on the final protocol that you sent, are we going to change the Excel file with all the variables that you have sent to us? So if this is the case, please, I would kindly request to proceed with the review of the Excel file and send it to me in order to proceed with the data model and in order to be in line with the final variables that referring also in the protocol.
Mary, may I ask you to write down in the chat so that I can copy and paste on the mural your question?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Matteo, as I was saying, we
Yes.
have time to collect the last feedback of the day, if you wish, and over to you.
Okay, so let's hope you enjoyed this session. Since we are tight in time, just let me know if you think that a session like this can be extended to workshop with patients or with external stakeholders along the project. So this would be very appreciated if you can tell us whether this this way of working can make it. Regardless of the feedback, unfortunately, for the next version, internal meeting for the Global Insight Cloud and the clinical backend, we are going to use the same, but I'm confident it will be even better because you are now you have now experience with the tool. So please, just a quick round table, few words if you like it, and if you think that this is a useful tool also for the external for workshop with external stakeholders, including patients. Bastian, please, you can start.
Sorry, say again, sorry.
Just a quick feedback. If you think that this method of work is effective also for patients' involvement, for feedback, for other workshop with external stakeholder, also policymakers.
I'm very convinced of this way of communicating. However, I'm not aware of patients being as convinced as we are from the type of communication and meeting. But of course, all the others should do so.
If this the method of work would be physical, do you think it would make a difference?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Okay, thank you. Luciano, what do you think?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. No, I think it's a very cool system and a very cool way of interaction. The point is that it may be kind of time consuming sometimes, and at least to my side, for example, I was not aware that we were having this kind of meeting today. So it took if we are giving this kind of interactive meeting and this kind of thing, so probably it may be useful to have material to be prepared to review in advance so that the interaction can be quicker. So let's say if we had let's say a few slides with the material that George showed us to look at in advance, and then we have been saying, okay, this is the material we are going to discuss, have a look before. So George's presentation could have been shorter and we could have been more directly into the discussion and probably could have been more effective. Just a suggestion of the modality.
Do you think your patients in workshop in Italian language, of course, doing a job like this for feedback, do you think they would
it depends. The technological literacy is very variable. We have patients that barely are able to use a smartphone. I don't know if they are able to interact with a computer in such a way. I mean, it may be very variable. It can select a specific category of patients. So I don't know.
All right. Angeliki, are you still with us?
Yes, I am still with you.
Yeah. So very few words.
Yes, it was nice. I appreciate that my colleagues made it, and I have to give my compliments to you, Matteo and Natalia, for the excellent organization of this workshop. So we have to speed up a little bit about the final version of the protocol, the ethics, and the final consent forms from each hospital. So I think that are the main issues of the next that we have to consider for the next steps.
Thank you, Angeliki. And Sharmas?
Can I make sorry, an additional final point on the organizational point of view? When we set up meetings like this workshop, that is other, I know that Basecamp is there, but I mean Basecamp is full of information, not always relevant to everybody. I mean, very to some group or the others. So can it be possible to receive kind of calendar invitation so that we can have it on the calendars, we can click on the calendars? Because, for example, this morning I had to browse back my email to find the link, and then I asked Angeliki to send it again. It was not on my calendar. So is it possible to make up this way of communicating the meetings with the?
So this is a general organizational
organizational thing. Yeah.
Okay, for the project. I mean, important meetings should be communicated by mail with calendars.
With calendars, because this is used. I mean, if it's something very with a small group of people, we can agree on WhatsApp. It's fine. But usually, if we can have calendar invitation, it's more effective.
All right.
It will be nice, Matteo, because my other name is Angeliki Basecamp too. I'm sending links and messages and all these things. Okay.
All right, taken. And Sermas, if you have something to add, some feedback, some.
Not really. Thank you very much for this session. And it's not a question of this session, but when are we going to start buying the devices? Because this is something our organization is asking us every time we speak with them, and I think it's important to move forward.
Yeah, well, I'm not involved in this specific task, but from the feedback we got today, there is also some clarification you clinical board have to take, for example, for the heart rate monitoring wearable, if it is something off the shelf, if it is something more professional. So I think there are some decisions, no, still pending. So I don't know if, I mean, obviously this is not the right place, also the next user experience workshop, but it's something that you should organize as soon as possible, in my opinion. All right, so as I said at the beginning, we try to organize the next workshop by the 15th of March. I think Natalia already sent alternative date. But please be aware that without the second workshop and the feedback on the Global Insight Cloud and we cannot close the deliverable. So please try to vote and to arrange a date by the 20th of March, the latest. That's all. So
thank you.
Yeah, please. Some comment.
One fast comment. It's very important they sent us the protocol and check the Excel, please, and fix it up, because that's what our Bible will be. Okay, that Excel is our Bible. Number two, I have the other version on Basecamp. You can see the other version on Basecamp. Okay.
Thank you, George. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us and your very appreciated feedback. And see you in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.